On the porch.
It is a beautiful day here in East Tennessee, here in the Great Smoky Mountains, and it's a great day to take a little road trip. I want to head over to Bowles Gap, Tennessee, so we're going to take the back roads, probably head out towards Morristown. Dawn, are you ready for a little road trip?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So we're in the little yellow Jeep. We're gonna stop off at the dump real quick.
Yeah.
We got our trash in here. The house is looking good. And you have to take your junk to the dump, or your trash, right?
Yep.
Yeah, everything's open today. I guess we go this way.
Mission accomplished. That's one thing we got less to worry about now.
That was like 3 or 4 days worth of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the weekend and all that, we built some up, and we've been doing a little cleaning around the house, you know, throwing away stuff. And so we had a little more than we normally would. And they only allow you to have like five bags at a time anyways.
Yeah.
So I think we met 5 bags today. But yes, we're on the road. Nothing like the back roads of Tennessee. So it's 85 degrees. We're supposed to get up close to 90 today. And it's a hot one.
Yeah.
It is a hot one. So out here in the English mountains, they're building the new 411 highway. And it should be finished, I think it's in the fall of 2026. And this will be a divided highway, 2 lanes each way. It should make travel from I-40 to Sevierville a lot easier when finished. But they've been rerouting the road. In fact, the road that we're on right now is brand new road. The old road they tore up. And now we're going back into the original section. But when they get finished, this will be a 4-lane highway. In my opinion, this couldn't come fast enough because this area is so dangerous. There's no shoulder. The road is narrow, and it takes on a lot of traffic, especially folks that are coming in, you know, from like South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. A lot of folks will take this way to the Smoky Mountains, to Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and it's just a dangerous road. Yeah, so we're out here in the English Mountain area, here at Fox Cemetery. We like to stop here and take a look at the countryside. A little bit of untouched Sevier County. And look at that photo, that farm down below, the mountains in the background. And there is rumor that they want to start developing this area into housing and stuff. Yeah, so we are here at the Fox Cemetery, and we always stop and take a look at one particular grave. In fact, some ancestors of this individual have reached out to us through our video saying, hey, I'm related to Mark Fox. 411 is a very busy road, usually pretty noisy, but when they reroute the new 411, it'll be on the other side of that hill, and you probably won't hear the traffic anymore, and it will be really peaceful then. So a lot of folks that take 40 up from Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Georgia, will take this route to get into Sevierville and Pigeon Forge. So, but anyways, we're looking for, I think it's over here. You could tell it's a very old cemetery by the headstones, but Mark Fox, killed and scalped by Indians in 1787. And the reason why this headstone intrigues me is it really takes you back in thinking that this area here wasn't the way that we know of it now. There was actually Native Americans, you know what I mean, living here, and of course the white settlers and the conflictions between one another. But there's Dawn. Dawn's like, we stop here all the time. It is. Look at that. The beautiful mountains all the way around. Yeah, it's an amazing stop. Here was an early German settlement. First settlers were Jacob Bird and Adam Fox. A fort stood on Derrick's land nearby. Mark Fox was killed by Indians on Muddy Creek in 1787. He was buried in Fox Cemetery. Early Lutheran church is believed to have been near the cemetery. When you're on these back roads in Tennessee, there is a lot of history. A lot of Civil War history, a lot of our nation's beginnings in the history of that. And there's a lot of history of the frontiersmen who had settled this area, like Davy Crockett, and a lot of just creative and entertaining Tennesseans. And that's what we're doing today. You really don't get to understand Tennessee until you take the back roads, right? And just take your time and search things out. Run across things that might have been known or might not have been known. Years ago, we had a live stream. It was during a snowstorm. And this was the drive that I was coming down during said snowstorm. And it is very, very steep. And people were cringing like, oh no, you know what I mean? It was yeah. But that's the famous hill there.
They thought you were going to get stuck in the snow.
They thought we were going to slide off the edge of the mountain, is what they thought. But so I do recommend a stop here at A.J. Bush General Merchandise Company, or AKA Bush's Baked Beans. It's a lot of fun. And definitely have lunch at the cafe. Got amazing food in there and a good price at that. Also taking a little history of the Bush brothers. We have been there many times, so we won't stop today. There's I-40 over there. Douglas Lake. On our way to White Pine, we ran into this. Looks like an old grist mill or something. Yeah, you can see there's a little stream running through here. But it caught our eye. We were like, wow, that looks like some kind of mill. Yeah, it's surrounded by, it's got a little moat of water around it. Out here in the countryside. You never know what you'll see. Yeah, driving down the back roads. Yeah, there's like little steps in that over there. It was surrounded by water, so I want to say it was some kind of like mill, but I don't know that.
Cool.
I don't know that. It's kind of a busy road here, so it's hard to pull off. So this is White Pine, and it's a cute little town. Not much going on in downtown White Pine, but they have a really cool little pharmacy there. And it's got all of its soda fountain. But they've papered the window up since. Huh. And I got a couple of friends that live here in White Pine, and it's just a very peaceful area. Now we're over here in Morristown, and we're here at the Crockett Tavern. We have been here many of times before in the channel, but never when it's open. It's open. It's open, Dawn. And I'm excited for this. We're gonna be able to go inside and check out the insides.
But of course what you're standing in is the main attraction, the Crockett Tavern Museum. But as you've already probably smoked it out, well, this is not the original. And in fact, the original sat just a few yards down the hill from here, across the railroad tracks where an old abandoned gas station now stands. Now, we do have historical documentation to inform us that the Crockett Tavern, or at least the building, stood around for quite some time. It certainly outlasted David's father's attempt at running a tavern, but in 1864 we have Union troops who were counted in their journals as having passed by the tavern of old John Crockett. But unfortunately in 1867, the last mention of the tavern, at least until 1949, was that it had been used as a hospital for victims of smallpox. There was a huge outbreak here in the community. And they used that building as a hospital, and once all the patients were gone, they set fire to the place in order to contain the virus. And because of that, for the longest time, we had no physical links to the Crockett Tavern until 1949, when a Mr. Herbert Smith had purchased that plot of land with the intention of building a lumber plant. And as he was digging up the ground to get the foundation ready, lo and behold, he discovers the well that was on the property when the Crocketts lived here. And they were able to salvage the upper wooden portion of that well called the casing, which is, interestingly enough, downstairs in our right-hand display case. But there was already quite a buzz of excitement about discoveries such as that, but in the mid-1950s, that excitement would reach a whole new level when Walt Disney and Fess Parker got together and made a TV series based upon the life of Davy Crockett. Now, of course, this was an instant hit, and it soon spread all across America, and the nation was swept up in this little phenomena of pop culture called the Crockett craze. Well, Morristown was no exception, and they figured, what better way to go ahead and honor his legacy than by rebuilding his father's tavern? So they started on this site in 1956 before finishing and opening up to the public in 1958. And although the building is relatively new, I will inform you that the majority of the materials actually used to construct this came from homes, churches, and places of business that in some cases can be dated back as far as almost 300 years ago. Now, I seem to be giving this building a rather glowing review, and rightfully so, because they did wonderful work with this. It's very typical of what a home/place of business would have looked like in the 18th and 19th century. However, there is one small problem with this building when it comes to historical accuracy, and that is its size. It's simply too big, because the original Crockett Tavern was only 18 by 20 feet and a story and a half tall. So in order to maintain accuracy, we would have to first and foremost get rid of the basement and that left extension off to the left-hand side of the cabin that you might have seen as you made your way up here. We'd have to shear that completely off as well, and then you've got the actual tavern. So that begs an important question. If this is in fact a tavern, a place to get food, drink, and even stay the night, where do the guests stay? Well, one might think where the feather ticks are, upstairs. But nope, that's solely reserved for John, Rebecca, and 8 out of their 9 children. So if you're a wagoner, just go ahead, suck it up, and sleep in your wagon outside on the green. Or you might be able to find a space in the hayloft out back. But if you got really lucky, you found yourself lying on the floor here at night, to be accompanied by the rats and mice. But nonetheless, folks, this is a pretty good look as to what would have been familiar not only to the eyes of young David Crockett, but also people throughout the 18th and 19th century as well. I mentioned, we have one of John Crockett's millstones that come from his...
So this is what it would have been like back in that day. The original tavern would have been a lot smaller, and it was located behind this building. In the original, the original tavern would have been a lot smaller, and it was located behind this building. And the original tavern would have been a lot smaller, and it was located behind this building. In the original building, the Crockett's would have lived upstairs. So the travelers would have all been like... Oh my goodness, look at this.
Hey Sally, how's it going?
So this is like where the Crockett's would have slept. This would have been their own little... And they had a lot of children.
Wow.
So the whole family would live roughly in a size of place like this. Yeah, and it's warm, right? East Tennessee summer.
Yeah, the heat is on in here.
Wow. Huh. A lot of history. I remember that little golden book. I think I had that at one time. But they have all kinds of pop culture, Davy Crockett things here at Morristown Centennial. Got some wooden coins. And there's Crockett and Polly Finley marriage bond. And the original one is over in Dandridge in their vault. So they have the original copy over there. The original copy, 1834 edition of Davy Crockett's autobiography. Wow. That's from 1834. That's an original copy there. Now this is from John Crockett's grist mill, and he had failed a few times to get a grist mill going, you know, and that's amazing to see the millstone there. So that would have been, you know, back in the days of, that's quite a while. That's a wow.
Yeah.
They do have some pretty cool artifacts in here. So I think this is the only original piece from the original Crockett, or the casing from the well. And yeah. So this would be like one of the most original pieces. And I remember coming to this door over the years and wondering what was on the other side of it. And we got to see it in its entirety. But look at, there's a stagecoach there, right? Yep. So on the other side, over there, would have been the original Crockett Tavern over there. Yeah, just an amazing place. So much history. This was an unexpected surprise. I wasn't thinking it was going to be open today, and it is on a Tuesday. He said we caught him at a right time. And yet again, if you think of Tennessee, you think of Davy Crockett. If you think of Texas, you think of Davy Crockett. If you think of the Alamo, he's a larger-than-life character. Of course, with Davy Crockett, the King of the Wild Frontier, Disney movies that we grew up watching. You remember watching? Yeah. Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. I mean, it's just amazing to walk through. Now, even though the structure isn't original, there is a lot of great information. And I have learned a lot about Davy Crockett I had no idea about. So it's definitely worth the stop here. They do have a Facebook page. I'll put a link in the description below, so you can check that out if you're coming to the Smokies. This is definitely, if you're a history buff, this is definitely a place to stop. We finally have made it in here.
We've come by it half a dozen times.
I've been here probably 24 times over the years, and it's just it's great. And then if you want to know what it felt like, you know, over 200 years ago in this country, this is a great place to take that in. And that's why it's so important to get on these back roads in Tennessee. You'll never know what you'll come across. We've been to Rogersville, where Crockett's grandparents were killed. We got to see their grave. Of course, we were here today in Morristown. We do have to get over to Reatown and Cove Creek. And then you can travel across the state and follow his travels and where he lived throughout the state of Tennessee. And there's quite a bit. I mean, you could spend a whole month just checking out different sites of Davy Crockett. Of course, he did spend time in Florida and Alabama. And of course, we all know he went to Texas. And one of these days, we are going to make it to San Antonio, to the Alamo. And that's where Davy Crockett's remains are at. They do have a gift store here, and he said he would open it up for us. But he's busy right now with everybody visiting, so we're not going to ask him to do that. But there it is, guys. Crockett Tavern and Museum. On our way.
It was busy in here. A lot of people were stopping.
Yeah. So we're here in Bulls Gap, Tennessee. And this is the home of Archie Campbell. Archie Campbell got his start in radio over in Knoxville. And then from there he went to the Grand Ole Opry, and then finally ending up on Hee Haw.
You got to take these same stories and tell them backwards or you can't get the kids' attention.
Tell them backwards?
Yeah. Like, for example, instead of Cinderella, you say Rendersella.
Well, where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone?
And he also has connection to the Comedy Barn in Pigeon Forge. They used to be called Archie Campbell's. I can't remember the exact name of it. But this is where he was born. Bulls Gap. A cute, cute little town. Perfect Tennessee charm. They even got a little museum over there. I don't know if it's open. We'll see if it is. This is his home place. And it kind of reminds me of Dolly Parton's. Yes. So I don't know much about Archie's upbringing. I just know him from the TV series Hee Haw, and wow, pretty humble beginnings. So it's hard to make out what these pictures are, but I'm assuming that's the original house he grew up in, and that's his family. The sun is kind of faded. So I'm assuming that's Archie at 8 years old right there. Of course, his brother and sisters. I'm trying to... Okay, this is Grandma and Grandpa. That's his grandma and grandpa there. My eyes had to adjust to see what these pictures are, and there's no lighting or nothing in here, so makes it kind of difficult. That's his mom and dad, and I'm thinking this is Grandma here. This is Grandma. And I can't tell who that is. And this here just screams Tennessee, doesn't it? That rocker on that rug. Mm-hmm. It's 90 degrees outside, and it's steaming in here. Of course, they didn't have air conditioning back in the day, and they still don't have air conditioning now. Kind of makes you want to get out of here. Woo! I'm getting that sheen, Dawn. I'm starting to look sexy.
Oh, God.
Gotta have a little comedy, because that's what Archie was about, right? You know, he was a comedian. But, the porch, this front porch is Definitely Tennessee. And nothing like a porch sitting in Tennessee. This town is just amazing. It's cute as a button. It's a perfect example of a Tennessee town. They have a really cool caboose. I love cabooses. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Let's explore town a little bit. This town has a lot of charm. That's the Magnolia Manor. Now, this is the city hall. Little general store on the end. Oh, wow. So they have a little museum in here. Talks about Bull's Gap and welcome to Archie Campbell Museum. Now, Bull's Gap got famous from Archie. I think he had mentioned it quite a few times. Oh, wow, Dawn, look at this painting. And the railroad ran right through here. An old steam engine. Yeah, you're not in Tennessee if there ain't no shining going on.
You better find right left.
And there's Archie there. Do you remember watching Hee Haw?
I vaguely remember it.
Vaguely, yeah. It was more of our parents' thing.
Yeah.
Remember Minnie Pearl?
I
She-
do remember the tag on.
Yeah, she always had the tags on her hats. A little guest book. Oh, this museum opens right up. Oh, they even have a Hee Haw clock in here. Homecoming 86. He always had the cigar hanging out of his mouth. At least in a lot of the renderings, I remember. Just to be fair, just to be honest, I don't know a lot about him. I know him from Hee Haw, but that's why we're here today. We're here to learn about him. And,
He was mayor.
Yep.
Honorary mayor.
Honorary mayor. Look at the different characters he played. Yeah, I was reading back there that he was a very good golf player. Of course, he was a comedian. He did work in the Grand Ole Opry. Of course, he was on Hee Haw, right? So he's got a list of different things. Oh wow, these are some of the shirts he had on during the show.
Oh,
A few
I
of
guess
his
he
shirts.
painted all these too.
And he's a painter.
Yeah.
And that's why we go and explore. We learn things. So he's a painter. He was a golfer.
Wow, the trade.
He's
Comedy.
Yeah, he's very, very talented. He didn't paint a few paintings. He had painted all of these going all the way around. But this right here is Archie Hee Haw barber shirt, and doctor shirt. And it's not even in a case. I mean, you could touch that. I wouldn't, but it's just right there. 40-acre feud. Oh yeah, super, super talented. You know, he really captured Tennessee. He liked old barns. And I like old barns. I like taking pictures of old cabins and mountain hillsides. Yeah, I know there's a little bit of glare, but I would take photos of the same things that he painted. Oh wow, that screams the mountains, doesn't it? Oh, he loved old barns too. Oh my goodness, he might be my, you know what I mean? We like the same things. I try to be a comedian. It doesn't always come out that way. And, okay, so that's pretty cool. This looks like the Great Smoky Mountains, to be honest. Trillium Gap, yes.
Oh, wow.
Trillium
It
Gap.
looked like it was in the fall time.
Smoky Mountain Chapel. Oh, well, he loved the Smoky Mountains. He loved to capture it in paint. Yeah, there was a battle fought here, the Battle of Bulls Gap, Tennessee, in 1864, and this shows the troops. I am not familiar with this movie. It's called Hillbillies in a Haunted House. Huh. I'm gonna have to look that up, Dawn. It
looks fun.
either it's very cheesy or I don't know. So that's Archie's very first painting. Hey Dawn, look, MSC. It's your cruise ship. Yeah. Yeah, the whole town comes out when a train comes through. That's pretty neat.
If it was real, it'd be sitting on a Corvette. Don't ask me how I drove them wheels or tires. That was in '08.
It's amazing paintings of cars. And the artist is here. Caswell Art. God, he's just so talented. And he's here all the time, so if you come to Bulls Gap, definitely head next door from the museum and check out his amazing artwork. So that's the City Hall over there. That's the Archie Campbell Museum. And next door is the painter that painted all those wonderful cars over there in the old general store. Bulls Gap Railroad Museum. But look at this town. A train runs right through the center. Well, let's go on in and check it out, right? So the Railroad Museum was just closing as we walked up. So I'm pretty sure everybody in town had come up to us at one point to greet us. It's a very small little, very warm and welcoming little town. We did go over to the Railroad Museum. We walked in and the guy's like, "Oh, we're closed. They closed at 2 o'clock. They just closed." And I did peek in there. They do have a great big huge HO model train set like in the center, and then they just have odds and ends of just probably like model trains and some train paraphernalia, right? If that's the right word for that. So we'll have to come back and do that another time, which will give us an excuse to do that. Great little town. Definitely recommend. It's not too far from the Smokies, you know, so I mean it's not too far from Pigeon Forge, so you can come over here, spend a couple hours, and even head back or make a day of it. Now we're gonna head out and get some lunch, and I know the perfect spot that's real near here. We've been there before, so we're gonna go grab some lunch. Everybody knows everybody. Look at that, it says Gillies Hotel. So this was an old hotel at one time. And located just a few miles from Bulls Gap is Yoders Market. And they're known for their fried pies. Apple, lemon, oh boy, peach. And take a look at all the cakes and baked goodies they got. Got cinnamon rolls down there. They got the oatmeal cake. Oh. Carrot cake with cream cheese, and different types of breads. Stella sourdough, home style blackberry jam, sweet potato butter, peach butter. And check out all the different types of gummies, different types of candy. Gummy bears, candy corn, You got circus peanuts. All different types of nuts, sweet mixes. Yeah, if you're into baking, they have all kinds of dried fruits. I guess enough to make a fruit cake. Or I guess you could eat them straight up as well. All kinds of cheese. This one here is a 6-year-old cheese. Cheddar cheese. Yeah, so they have all kinds of candy in bulk. They got tongue touchers, peppermints, even Starburst, caramels, cinnamon puffs. They even have Good and Plenty. A lot of Amish meats, a lot of Amish cheeses. They even have some country hams hanging. Everything for baking you can imagine. And here's my sandwich. I got the sandwich of the day, the bologna, and it's super hot. You get slabs of bacon, Viennas. Yeah, they even have Benton's country bacon. I think I went to seasoning heaven. They had every single seasoning imaginable. Shipshewana is a huge Amish community in Indiana. I've been there a few times. They do have Amish butter here, which if you've never had Amish butter, oh my goodness. So I did get Tuesday's lunch special, which is the bologna sandwich. And it came with some chips. I also got I got a fried strawberry pie. And what did you get, Dawn?
I got the Boston cream Dutch Bavarian pie, and then I got the pimento cheese sandwich with ham, banana peppers, tomatoes, and lettuce.
Wow.
I don't know how to make a sandwich.
So what you do when you go in there is you go up to the counter and you get a little slip, and you got to fill out what kind of sandwich they want you to make, right? What kind of sandwich you want them to make. That's how they do it. Then you give them a slip, make sure they get the slip, and then they'll call your name. And I want to get in. Now, every day of the week they have a different sandwich, and today is the bologna. Now, one of them is a Reuben, or a corned beef sandwich, and I hear that it's amazing. Oh, wow. Now, the other day I had a bologna sandwich, and I thought that might be the best bologna sandwich I've ever had, but I was reminded by a friend of mine that you have to get out here and try the bologna sandwich. Oh my goodness. There's bacon, and there's a big thick piece of deep fried bologna in there. Grilled, buttery, good. Oh wow, Dawn, this is amazing looking. Look at this. So this might be the best bologna sandwich I've ever had. It's got bacon. It's different. It's got like a mustard, a barbecue mustard. What do you think of your sandwich?
It's all half gone.
Dawn, well, we haven't eaten breakfast, and it's 3 o'clock. So now their lunch specials are only until 3 o'clock each day. So you got to get here before 3 o'clock, right? So if you're coming down 81 from like Virginia, this is right on your way coming to the Smoky Mountains. So you can stop here, grab a bite to eat, grab some stuff. There are some outside seating areas, but it is so hot. It's 90 degrees. I figured let's come back, sit in the air-conditioned Jeep. And that way we can enjoy it without sweating. But it's amazing. It's amazing. Everything I've ever had here has been phenomenal. There's ham, bologna, bacon, and then the barbecue mustard. I probably, if I were going to do this again, I wouldn't get the barbecue mustard. I kind of want to taste the flavors of the pie. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to have room for pie. Okay. And I did get another thing, but it's not for right now. But look at the size of this buckeye. I'll probably end up splitting this pie with Dawn later.
Because of Dawn eats.
Because Dawn ate hers. So I probably will. I can't normally eat a big pie like that. As I get older, I can't eat as much as I used to. I just can't. And the bag of chips will be going out. Dawn got something else really in there. It's really cool.
Spicy pickled baby beets.
I don't like beets. You love beets.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I'll try one though. I'm okay with it. You know, maybe I'll like it. It's too much like the dirt taste, right? I don't know.
They don't taste like dirt.
To me, beets taste like dirt.
No, they don't. You look like dirt.
Beets taste like dirt, and dirt don't hurt, right? God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt,
I
right?
like beets.
You come from the dirt, and you'll return to the
There's
dirt.
something else I got. I got my peppermint patty.
Oh, you got a
A homemade peppermint patty.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if you don't eat it, it'll melt.
So is that an excuse to eat it?
Yeah.
Mine will melt, but I will
Yours
take a
is peanut
chance.
butter, though.
I will. Yeah, but there's chocolate on it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. So we had a little adventure on the back roads of Tennessee, and it is the next day after we were finished with the Yodelers. Oh, Yoders. We took 81 back home is what we did. And it's about 45 to 50 minutes back to Sevierville. So what did you think?
It was a good day. I enjoyed myself. I really got into the museum, and I'm shocked that he was a painter. What was his name again?
Archie Campbell.
Archie Campbell.
Yeah.
He paints. He was an actor. He probably sang too. I'm sure he sang some music.
Yeah, he did a lot.
Songwriter.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with his life and his career and everything else. And we got to see the Davy Crockett Museum, and that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about, well, Tennessee's patron saint. Patron saint, I guess. But folks, that's going to do it for today here in the beautiful Smoky Mountains. If you like this vlog, give it a thumbs up. They're both going now.
Those chickens.
Yeah, there ain't nothing like being in Tennessee. And but thank you so much for joining us on our little adventure today. Now it's time for you to have your own. We love you. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Lord willing and the creek don't rise, they'll take you to see the countryside, driving all over Tennessee in their little yeller Jeep. You can come along wherever they go, all you gotta do is watch the show, so be sure you tune in. Don, would you do this again?